Hello again. Time for your week 6 lecture. And this week we are skipping to chapter 15, which is how to write sound and effective arguments. I moved this chapter up in the schedule because for your midterm assignment you'll be writing a paper that's a little bit more in-depth than the writing you've been doing so far. And even though most of you are taking or have taken English Composition 1, chapter 15 is not simply a review of how to write well, but it also shows exactly how the critical thinking skills you've been learning can be applied in your written work. And that way you can make your writing effective and convincing to others. You will probably not need to read the whole chapter word for word, but skim it to remind yourself of the important aspects of how to think on paper and present your thinking clearly for an audience. In this case, you should consider the audience to be your classmates. They are people like you in many ways, and through our earlier discussions, you've gotten to know them somewhat, so that should give you a sense of where to aim your writing. One important aspect of the chapter is the rubric for evaluating written arguments, or RUWA, which is on pages 300 to 301. The rubric evaluates the thinking in similar terms to the HCTSR, which we saw back in chapter 1, but it also includes elements that are particularly important in writing. If your writing is not clear, well organized, error-free, and aimed at the right level, it is very hard to get an argument across to a reader, even if the argument itself is well reasoned. To prepare for the writing assignment, we'll begin with a relatively informal discussion of the video you'll be writing about. It is a PBS frontline documentary called Death by Fire, and it is about an hour long, so give yourself time to watch it and take notes before writing up your discussion posting. The program is about a controversial death penalty case from back in 2010. You can watch it online, and I have the link in the written notes, and if you have Netflix, you can also stream it through there. Just search for Frontline Death by Fire. The documentary is put together in such a way that is designed to mess with your emotions. After about 35 minutes, you'll see them start to talk about a change in the science of fire investigation. Before that goes too far, pause the video and write for 5 minutes or so about what you think about the case so far. Are you thinking he's guilty, not guilty? What do you think of the evidence presented? At the end of the video, write some more, noting whether your feelings and thoughts have changed, and if so, how and why. Ultimately, I want you to write about whether or not you believe that Todd Willingham was wrongfully convicted. Cite specific points made that seem either weak or strong to you. Clean up this piece of writing and post it on the discussion page. I really look forward to reading what everyone comes up with. For next Monday, you're going to turn those ideas into the first draft of your midterm writing assignment by looking at the case more analytically, using mapping to tease out the lines of reasoning, and determining if and or when those lines of reasoning went wrong. I am posting a separate assignment sheet with detail on how to do this. You will probably want to use this discussion page posting as part of your essay, or at least part of a draft to start with. So anyway, this week's assignments: read chapter 15, and also watch the Frontline documentary and post your thoughts on it to the discussion page. See earlier in the notes for more detail on that. Read the responses to your own postings in last week's discussion and continue the dialogue. You will read and watch the week 7 notes. This week you must look at them on the screen because they have diagrams in them. Also read chapter 7, and for your discussion posting you'll be picking from several critical thinking questions that I've indicated. As before, remember that if there are too many questions to answer in one posting, pick a few and answer them in detail. That's better than just skimming through and only brushing the surface with a lot of them. So let me know if you have any questions. There's a lot going on this week, a little bit different from previous weeks, but hopefully you will have no problem taking care of it all. Take care.